Hi everyone, welcome to Best Recipes with Sharon. Today I'm going to be making chocolate digestive cookies. This recipe was taken off of the Great Canadian Baking Show. It's a recipe that they used there and I thought I'd give it a try. Alright, so let's do this recipe together. We'll go back into the kitchen and get started. First, we'll turn on the oven to 350 degrees. We'll need a fair-sized mixing bowl, so I'm getting that ready as well. I'm looking at lining a cookie sheet with parchment paper. Actually, I'll need about 2 or 3 cookie sheets lined with parchment paper. 2 of them for baking the cookies and 1 for when I do the chocolate dipping after. So now on to the ingredients. We'll start with 1 cup of whole wheat flour. Then add 1/3 of a cup of wheat bran. And now 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. And 1/4 of a cup brown sugar. And half a teaspoon of salt. Now we'll mix together these dry ingredients until they're well combined. Then we'll add the butter and pulse until the mixture resembles coarse crumbs. Now then I'll gradually add the milk until the dough is moistened and it holds together when squeezed. I noted that the recipe calls for 1 or 2 tablespoons of milk. I had to add just a little tad more than that, so you will have to use your judgment as to whether the dough is moistened enough. But you sure don't need much more than that. It's just a generous amount of 1 or 2 tablespoons of milk. Then we'll turn the dough out onto the counter and knead it gently to bring it together, and then start to roll it out here. So make sure you've floured the counter, and you roll the dough to a scant 1/4 inch thick. Cut it into rounds and place it on the prepared baking sheets. Now I'd like it to look like the real thing, so I'm going ahead and using a fork to pick some holes in it just for the effect. I also noted that the recipe says to bake between 16 and 18 minutes. I found it only took about 13 minutes until it was firm and the edges began to brown. Now you can let them cool down on the pan for a little bit and then remove them to a wire rack for cooling completely. Now you can see here how nicely browned they are, just a little bit. You don't want them to brown up much more than that. They are nice and crisp at that point. Now we'll need to melt some chocolate for dipping. This can be done while the cookies are baking. The recipe calls for 3 cups of chopped milk chocolate. So you're going to use about 3/4 of that chocolate to start with and create your own double boiler effect. And with 3/4 of the amount of chocolate inside that small pot, you melt that chocolate to 45 degrees Celsius. Then you remove it from the heat and you add the reserved chocolate. And at this point you continue stirring until the temperature reaches about 27 degrees Celsius. It'll cool off just slightly. Then place that pot of chocolate over the simmering water for a little bit longer to heat the chocolate gently to 29 to 30 degrees Celsius. This is a perfect temperature for dipping. Then working quickly, dip the face of each cookie into the melted chocolate. Then I'm placing each cookie with the chocolate side up on parchment paper on a cookie sheet. And by the time I have each one chocolate dipped, I will have to work quickly now to do a crisscross pattern in the chocolate with the tines of a fork. Then I place them in a cool spot to set completely. So you might ask, was it worth it? Yes, it definitely is. You'll want to give these a try. So there you go, another great recipe to try. Thanks for watching today and enjoy.